notifications.com.
This is the Gridiron Guesser, the premier guesser in all of sports.
Welcome in. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Gridiron Guesser. Before we go any further, make sure you subscribe to our channel and like this video. Yes, we are new here and we need your help to get going. So subscribe, like these videos, and turn on those notifications. Today, our preview will focus on the Big Ten West this 2023 college football season. Now, our Big Ten West preview is going to be a little bit abbreviated as we're trying to get all of our previews in before each conference starts play. We've already uploaded our picks for the SEC and Pac-12, so check those out when you've got time. Rest assured that even though the Big Ten West show is abbreviated, the same secret formula went into all of our predictions. Just remember, here at the Gridiron Guesser, we tell you everything you need to know about what's going to happen on the football field this season and nothing you don't. We love college football and we love picking winners here at the Gridiron Guesser. So if that's for you, go ahead and subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and let's get going. Today, as we focus on the Big Ten West, we're going to look at this year's contenders, how realistic it is that we think each team has a chance to win that division, and we'll give you the insight into which team is going to head to Indianapolis to represent the West of the Big Ten. First off, always remember here at the Gridiron Guesser, we're about the winners. So remember, if your team sucks, don't expect us to spend much time talking about them. We're not going to waste our time or yours. All right, so here we go. Purdue and Northwestern are going to be the bottom feeders of the Western Division. Obviously, there's been some crazy shit happening at Northwestern. Purdue has a new coach come over from Illinois. Yeah, we're just not feeling that yet. So these teams are not competing for any kind of a championship this season. All right, moving on. Now, let's get to the real contenders. Number 5, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Man, Nebraska, Matt Rhule, the fans are so pumped. They thought they had their man a few years ago, but now they do. Matt Rhule is going to quickly turn Nebraska around. Now, let's pump the brakes just a little bit on that statement. What I mean is Nebraska has no business ever being in last place in the Western Division of the Big Ten. And I mean f***ing ever. So Matt Rhule is going to take care of that. Now, is Nebraska going to be the Nebraska of the 1970s and 80s and 90s? Hell no. They are not and will not ever be that dominant of a program again. College football has just changed too much for that ever to really happen again at a place like Nebraska. But Nebraska will be a winning program, and it starts this year. The Gridiron Guesser has Nebraska going 4-5 in the Big Ten, and they might even sneak up and win 5 conference games if things fall just right. And we're going to take the over of 6 wins for the Nebraska Cornhuskers this season. Now, before we get into these next couple of teams, the Gridiron Guesser doesn't really care about ties in conference races. If, say, Team A and Team B both have the same record in conference, but Team A beat Team B on the field, well, guess what? Team A finishes higher in the standings. It's that simple. We don't make this very complicated. Number 4, the Illinois Fighting Illini. Illinois will have another solid season and continue progress under head coach Bret Bielema. Being that it's the Big Ten West and there's no Ohio State, Michigan, or Penn State on this side, Illinois has an outside chance to contend for the division. Their schedule is somewhat favorable, avoiding Ohio State and Michigan and getting Penn State and Wisconsin at home. They do have to travel late in the season to Iowa, and that may very well determine the final position of the division for the Illini. Even though they lost their defensive coordinator to Purdue, we have faith in how Coach Bret Bielema coaches the defense and puts things together. We like the Fighting Illini to win 5 conference games this season and be good enough to make the path to Indianapolis very difficult for some of the frontrunners. And the Gridiron Guesser is also going to take the over of 6.5 wins for the Illini this regular season. Number 3, the Minnesota Golden Gophers. The Gophers started off 2022 on fire, just steamrolling their first 4 opponents before losing their oars and watching the rowboats come completely to a stop, or whatever the hell it is that PJ Fleck likes to say. They did finish off the season 5-1, but that midseason drop left everyone wondering what could have been for the Minnesota Gophers last season. The PJ Fleck era has produced winning seasons at Minnesota, but the Gophers are still looking to put it all together. The schedule this year is very tough. A conference game with Nebraska at the end of August is very early to need to be firing on all cylinders. Minnesota does catch a break getting Illinois and Wisconsin at home, but there's no relief when it comes to getting to play Michigan and at Ohio State from the East. Minnesota is good enough to win 6 conference games, but our guess has them only winning 5. And we'll take the under of 7 wins on the regular season for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Number 2, the Iowa Hawkeyes. You know, Iowa pissed me off so much last year with one of the worst offenses ever fielded in the history of college football. I don't care what supposed stipulations have been put on the old Ferentz Jr. there as offensive coordinator. Iowa is probably still not going to be very good offensively, but they'll be just good enough defensively to contend for the division title again. And what about all this gambling shit among these players? Yeah, we don't know all the details yet, but one thing we do know is Iowa is consistently a good, but not great, Big Ten team. So bank on it again this season. The schedule isn't great with road games at Penn State, Wisconsin, and rival Nebraska. But with the addition of the quarterback Cade McNamara to run the offense, we like this year's Iowa team to be a real contender in the West. If everything falls right and the offense is better than everyone expects, the Hawkeyes might just be a surprise team in the mix for a New Year's Six bowl game. The Hawkeyes defense will be dominant yet again. We love what Phil Parker is able to put together year after year on the defensive side of the ball. For now, we're betting on an above-average offense and a 6-win conference season for the Hawkeyes. And the Gridiron Guesser is also going to take the over of 8 regular season wins for Iowa this season. Number 1, the Wisconsin Badgers. The Wisconsin Badgers are our guess to win the West of the Big Ten this season. We love Luke Fickell. He did a tremendous job at Cincinnati, and we think he's a perfect fit at Wisconsin. The Badgers returned 17 starters from a team that underachieved last season, and the schedule is backloaded to give the new-look offense and defense time to find their rhythm. We love the addition of Tanner Mordecai at quarterback, and Braylon Allen is a legit tailback. New offensive coordinator Phil Longo should have no problem putting a spark into the offense. And defensive coordinator Mike Tressel has a loaded roster to keep the defense strong. We look for Wisconsin to cruise to an undefeated record through their first 5 games. Then comes some real test with Iowa coming to town, followed by a road trip to Illinois, and back home for a heavyweight fight with Ohio State. This 3-game stretch should determine the Badgers' fate, and we like their chances to come out standing tall. The season concludes with a rivalry game over in Minnesota against a solid Gopher team. There are a few spots where Wisconsin could stumble, but we're guessing they don't, and a 7-win conference season leads to their first division championship since 2019. The Gridiron Guesser also likes the over of 9 regular season wins for the Badgers. So there you have it, the Gridiron Guesser's picks for the top 5 teams in the Big Ten West. Don't forget to check out our preview of the Big Ten East, and it might just surprise you. Thanks for watching this episode of the Gridiron Guesser. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and like our videos, and don't forget to turn on those notifications. All season long, we'll be bringing you the most accurate picks on all the biggest games each week. You don't want to miss out on those winners. Thanks again for watching the Gridiron